I have a clear takeaway after the release of the files. We got part two. How long are we going to do this, E? How long are we going to drag this on? How many parts are we going to do? How many parts are we going to wait for when you could just release all the files now? I've had enough of the games. You got your exposure. And of course, I'm talking about the Twitter files release. But we did get part two. And here's my big takeaway. I'm going to give you just high overview quickly and then a big takeaway from what I read through and went through this stuff. We saw proof, obviously, of what we thought we knew was there, shadow banning. Dan Bongino. They even showed us kind of, looks like the internal stuff where they put people on blacklists and said you couldn't trend. So Dan Bongino, no surprise there, got. Charlie Kirk runs one of the most important organizations in the country where you could get administrative state political candidates who are not enthralled with the current cabal and ideology. And of course, do not amplify, labeled on him. No surprise there. They really hated when you put a mirror to the face of these people, they get really heated. And that's what Libs of TikTok is. The better name for that account would be a mirror to your face. And that really got them heated. Trends blacklist, invalid suspensions, and all kinds of stuff going on with that account. That was probably the number one account that they hated. The most egregious of all the shadow banning, we're talking about the health, life or death of this nation. Jay Bhattacharya did nothing but respectful discussion on his take on the impacts on children, all that. He's been proven absolutely right to me at this point. But even if he was wrong, it doesn't matter. He got put on a no trends list. Probably one of the most disgusting one on there. But we saw a lot. Ian Miles Chung brought this up. Great question. Elon responded. Ian Miles Chung said, so here's a question for Elon Musk and Barry Weiss. Were any political candidates, either in the U.S. or elsewhere, subject to shadow banning while they were running for office or seeking re-election? Second part of the question. Furthermore, there is the question of whether any of Twitter's acts of covert shadow banning suppression was done at the behest of political agents, campaigns, activists, or the government at any level, especially federal. That question was asked at 9:20 p.m. Mountain Time yesterday, December 8th. And Elon Musk responded, he responded to the first question. So I don't know if he said anything to the second one, but he responded to the first question, yes. So we know that there's some stuff going on out there. And it's behind with Twitter. So what's the takeaway after we see all this disgusting stuff? Well, one of them is that we see what the real problem is. You want to label J6 and J6ers as something? What we're seeing here is at a level well above anything you saw there. And I don't know what needs to happen. I need to look at, probably the only lawyer publicly talking about this stuff would be Robert Barnes, maybe Jenna Ellis or somebody. What needs to happen here? What are the ramifications? You had the federal government fortify the process. Then they were the same ones that prosecuted people who thought the process was fortified. That's not right. I don't know what needs to happen, but that needs to be addressed. But here's my big takeaway. Let's get into it. Elon Musk, this is it right here. Elon Musk says truth brings reconciliation. I don't know what he means by that. And he's vague. He didn't tie this into the Twitter files, but that's not true. Truth does not bring reconciliation. If you're cheating on your spouse and you tell the truth to your spouse, that doesn't mean that they're going to reconciliation. My understanding of that is like becoming friends again, basically, in an easy way to explain it. That ain't always the way. Truth is important, but truth does not always bring reconciliation. That's Elon Musk trying to say, I'm giving you the truth. I want you to love Twitter again. I want you to love me again type of stuff. No, that's not the case. I appreciate the files that have been released, but when I dig deeper into the thing here, the big problem that we had before Elon Musk even got there, the big problem that we had was that we had people who said, oh, I think you have freedom of speech, you just don't have freedom of reach. What the hell does that mean? So I have freedom to type and put something on Twitter, but you have the ability to make it reach nobody if you want to. That's not freedom of speech. Obviously, you're playing games. So before Elon Musk, they felt you had freedom of speech. If you asked Vijaya Gadde, if you asked Yoel Roth, all of them, Jim Baker, they would say you have freedom of speech. You just don't have freedom of reach. Then they would say, well, we have to the duty to protect the public from hate speech or negative speech, disinformation, malinformation, hate, and all that. So the problem was that they had a wrong view of the rights of the citizen, of the role the platform played in our country. Because if there's one big takeaway that we've seen here, the government with their paw prints all over it, every parts of the government, from the state level, we even saw Arizona officials getting involved in this stuff, from Maricopa County. We saw from state level to federal level, government involved, corporations involved, campaigns for president involved, politicians involved, everybody with their hands in. What that means is whether you use Twitter or not, it doesn't matter. What that means is it is a powerful platform. They're trying to control the narrative. They know it's worth something. That means all that's proof is that it is a public square and obviously should be covered under the First Amendment, however the best way to do that is. But when you post something on Twitter, you should be protected in the First Amendment right, no different than if you go outside and say something. So we should be doing that. They say, no, you do have that, but we could cut your reach and we decide what hate and negative stuff is. So wait, that's going to come back in a second. That's before Elon. Elon said he's working on software update that will show your true account status so you know clearly if you've been shadow banned, the reason why, and how to appeal. Okay, that sounds nice, but why is there shadow banning in the first place? There always will have to be shadow banning, but why does Twitter have to do the shadow banning? I should be able to go on the platform and say I don't want Twitter to do anything other than address illegal acts with the authorities. That's it. So if I go on Twitter, I should be able to filter and I see anything. I'm the only one that filters what's on Twitter. Why does Twitter have to have that power? You go on and Elon Musk said, I'm working on this software to show that. And here's the problem, and I'm going to end with this. I'm going to show one more tweet. I'm going to end with this. Elon Musk knows that everything I just said is true. That the First Amendment, but it's not. But his role would be like, hey, you guys got to do an amendment or agree on it. But right now, the private company has the power. So what the problem that Elon Musk has is the First Amendment is ugly. All of our rights are ugly, every single one. If there can't be if there's no downside to it, it's not a right. So the First Amendment right would cause a problem for these big tech platforms because you could say anything and then it could turn people off. It poses a business problem, but that ain't my problem. We've established you should have First Amendment rights on all of them. It should be a problem for all of these big tech platforms. Now, you might have to hash it out and say, how big is the user base? I don't know. But those are the discussions that people smarter than me have to have. And I know it hurts because you could go on just like anybody else, put something that's hurtful or hateful onto a platform and then turn people off and say, just like Gab. A lot of people don't want to go on Gab because it's the closest thing to the First Amendment. So they say, well, we'll protect you so you'll like it and you'll stay here. That's not my problem. We've already hashed this out in our country. Those are God-given rights, not government control, not corporation controlled. So you have to work under that framework and figure it out. It's not my problem. And here's how you should figure it out. If you're going to do it in a serious manner, you would give people the power. That's how you would do it if you were a serious person. You can do shadow banning, all the tools that they have, and we can have the power. So I said it's more important to let people decide what should be shadow banned or not. That's what's important. And my final takeaway is, I talked about it, the core problem with Twitter before Elon Musk, that Twitter Files 2 proves, it exposed that Twitter made up this term, hate, negative speech, then arbitrarily used it to restrict people's reach. That's the problem. That was the problem before Elon. Here's a tweet from Elon from November 18th. New Twitter policy is Freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. Does that sound familiar? Not that Vijaya said that exact quote, but that was their philosophy. That's Elon Musk, November 18th, well after he bought it. Negative hate tweets will be max deboosted and demonetized. So no ads or other revenue to Twitter. Does that sound like anything we've already done? YouTube, all these other platforms? You won't find the tweet unless you specifically seek it out, which is no different than the rest of the internet. You know what's no different, E? Is Twitter under you than it was under Jack, Vijaya, Jim Baker, Yoel Roth. Nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is a different person making the interpretation. We have not made any progress. You releasing the Twitter files has not done anything, obviously. What lessons are we learning? Okay, great. You show us if we got banned or something like that. Okay, that's nice. But the core that wasn't the core problem. The core problem has not changed. What else has not changed is visit middlemaga.com. Go to the shop at the top if you want to find a way to support the channel. On these items, if you want to know the profit, I'm anywhere from $4 to $8 depending on the item. So if you want to do a super thanks or whatever, you can do that. I haven't been doing many lives. I got to figure out a schedule to do that. But I like to, hey, if you can, if you have the money to afford an outfit or something like that, I'm going to have to buy this one again. Because I literally don't know where it is. The Super MAGA one. It's one of my favorite ones. I can't wait. I'll have this one in soon. The newest one is the heart. I want to see if it looks whack. I want to know I really do. I'm like, I can't wait to see, is this one going to look whack or is it going to look okay? And then I'm going to have to do one with the branding of the Middle MAGA website on there. So there's many ways you can help out the channel. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about Elon right now. Am I wrong? To me, nothing's changed. It's absolutely. It could be worse. I mean, depending on the reasoning, I think I could make an argument that things are worse, at best the same. And I appreciate the release of the files, but the reaction that I'm seeing, like, oh, thank you, Elon, and all that, and like, okay, I do thank Elon for releasing the files, but I'm not seeing the pushback that I expected to see from people who are much smarter than me. Let me know what you think. Take care.